Welcome, and here we're looking at the US bond market here, and we're looking at this particular daily chart here that we expect to push up through here. What we have been looking for is an A wave and a B wave and a C wave, and then a move higher through here. This is obviously going to place pressure on the stock market. We can actually have a look at that on an intraday chart here, which is just the much the same, it's just the notes. But what we were looking for here, we went through this before on one of the other markets, on the bonds, which we're looking for 5 waves down through here. We're looking for 3 waves back up here as a B wave, and then we've got our C wave in here for 5 waves. So now we're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're getting these impulse waves to the upside. So this plus the US dollar is pushing up as well. So yes, it's going to place, it's going to help with the turning point on the indices, which we are seeing now as well. So when we look at the US, the S&P 500 here. What I wanted to point out here is that there's actually a short switch selling setup here. If you know the switch, this is a daily chart here. The switch pretty much is we're looking for a move down and a move back up, overlapping this particular bar here, and then taking the low out here. So 1839 would be the short, and putting the stop up here at wherever that high is here. We can check that there, 1856. I'll put that on the text anyway. But look, we are looking for a top, and as you know, we can see that that's sort of rolling over to some degree there as well. Once again here, just on the 4-hour chart here. But what we don't have here is, in terms of actually confirming a move down, is we don't have 5 waves down. We actually have a bullish correction in 3 waves here. So it's still got everything going forward in a bullish trend. It's just that we can see some weakness in there. We can see the other markets that are correlated adversely to the stocks, like the bonds and the notes, and the US dollar's in the swing now as well. So there is that sentiment for a change here, but in terms of wave count here, we're not seeing what we want here as an impulse wave just yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're not seeing that sort of price action yet. We're just seeing 3-wave price action here, as in corrective, as you can see here on the 1-hour chart. So we can see that we've got an A and a B and a C basically here. So the market can push up from here, but with everything else being equal, we'll be looking for a 5-wave structure to the downside. Like I said, it's not confirmed yet, so we just really need to wait on that. So it's a little bit iffy there, but and the same with the US 30, the DAX, the Dow as well here. So pretty much, if we're looking for a top, we want to be shorting new lows here on daily lows. If you're going to be going long here, you'd want the closest largest number to be your support, the 16,200. It's not that at the moment, as you can see here. So it's still, like I said, we just don't have those 5 waves down yet. So new highs can be made. It's just that we've got that sentiment sort of lingering over us here, and this is the US 30 here as well. It does, all this appears corrective to me, so it should move down from here. But any long trades, 16,200 and Group 1, which is 16,230 as a retested support, is the first sign of any hope to the upside. So that's what you'd be looking for. You would never go long under a large number here as such. The DAX is the same as well here. I've sort of investigated this sort of move up here in 3 waves here on the US indices. It does count as a 5-wave structure up through here when you pull it apart on a minute chart. So it's just the 1 and the 2 is here, the 3, the 4, and the 5. So just a little bit deceiving like that. So it is a fit here for that. But as I mentioned, once again, even on the DAX, we don't have a 5-wave sequence to the downside. Here we only have 3 waves. I think it's a case we're going to get further downside, but I can't say that. That we don't have any evidence of that as such. So we just need to be careful. The FTSE, however, it was the first one to lead to the downside, and let's have a closer look in this as well, because we'd been calling a top in here at this point here, and it does appear that we've got a 3-wave swing down here, but on closer inspection this actually looks quite nice as an impulse wave in terms of down for 1, back for 2, a nice 3rd wave here, a little ABC for the 4th wave here, and a 5th wave moving down. So we could get a rally here and then another sequence to the downside here. So look for that, and the weakness is showing up in this particular market, and of course this market has quite a good relationship with the ASX 200. So looking at the daily chart on the ASX 200 CFD here, we knew that there were sellers coming into the market. We could see that the strength in this was diminishing, the ranges in the bar were getting shorter, and we could see the profit taking coming in on these bars up through here. So we are seeing that turn here as well at the 5.5. And we would be looking for this trend to be corrected at some point, so we would see it down here further. Now, as a switch set up in here, it's not really there on that, but it is on the SPY CFD here. So when we're looking at this here, the switch here, if we can just a little setup thing, it works quite well. So we're always looking for a move down, and then we're looking for this bar here to take out this high here. It's done that, so then we would have the short position at this level here, and the stop would go above here, and to the downside would go. And this works quite. The robo works quite well on the SPY here, as you can see. Right, so but just drilling into that here, it's just the 4-hour chart here. We were looking for a top into the 5.5 here. This particular pattern here, it does appear to be corrective. Okay, so that means that if we've got 5 waves down here and this is some type of corrective pattern here, well then we should see another 5 down through here. And on that note here of looking at it as a corrective pattern, this is the 3-wave pattern, the A, the B, and the C that we're looking at here. So we'd need to see this sort of roll over here further as well. Obviously the support here, but we can't really push it past looking at this as an A and a B and a C. We can get that here as such. So if we got 3 waves down, that's still corrective, isn't it? So if we end up getting 5 waves down, then if we got 5 here, then we would get another counter trend here, and then we would get another 5 down. So by getting 5 here, we know that we'll get 5 here, but to get a larger 5 here would give us a larger 5 over here as well. So that's something that would be keeping on the table and investigating as the market unfolds. So as it stands, you wouldn't want to go long unless you had this 554.50 as your support here. It's not worth going off the 54.30 here, simply because we've got a sentiment of downside here. And you can see this is quite a nice A, B, and C wave here. This just hasn't. It may end up being a bit bigger and uglier here in terms of an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave here. So you'd still have to be careful about going long from these points here as well. Anyway. I'll leave that as a bit of thought there as such, but that's it. We're still working with the tops of these markets, and we can't call them in place. They certainly sort of look in place, but we just don't have that confirmation of impulse waves to the downside. Well, we do have one, which is this one here. So after this correction here, if this was going to pull back here, would be looking at the standard sort of 61.8%, which has kind of done it already into this point here at 50%. So if this was going to move up here, it wouldn't go that far really. It would only go to the group 2 up here, 65, 72 and the 80, and fold from that point there as well. So anyway, you just need to be a little bit careful. But if you are going to go long, 54.40, that's where the supply is, so nice support on that, or the 54.50 would even be safer still at that point. But yeah, from this little point here, just to look at this, we've got little 5 waves happening in here, so we'd see a little counter trend rally into here and then down from here. That would be the likely process there.